As far as a couple of tricks real quick, just so you have an idea of some of the things that we'll cover in at Purler Wrestling. Real quick, a couple of leg attacks and tricks. We all know how to hit a high crotch to a double. We all know how to hit a regular sweep single leg. Here's a couple of tricks that will make it actually work. These are things that, here, grab my elbows. Tricks of the trade, I guess. So basically, we're wrestling hairline to hairline, thumbs in the armpits for defense. Now, we're going to drill from an inside tie. Basically, 2 inside ties. If Nick's in a perfect stance, I can't score. If we're tied up here, we're fighting, and I get 2 inside ties, stay there. Now he's in a poor stance. So, for all general purposes, for basically introductory wrestling, 2 inside ties is a setup for wrestling. That's where we're going to drill from. Now, we're going to have, in wrestling, whenever I attack, there's a difference between being a leg attacker and a leg grabber. Just because you grab a leg doesn't mean that you're a wrestler. We want to have a deep knee whenever we wrestle. If my knee is not real deep, right here, I'm basically falling on top into my opponent. And when he does sprawl, I'm in trouble. But if I hit with a deep knee here, now when he does sprawl, see, I'm still under him. I can pick him up. So you want to try to hit with a deep knee. All right? If he does sprawl from here and you have to, we can always knee slide, but that's other areas of wrestling. But for the most part, if you can hit with a deep knee, you'll be very good in wrestling for your leg attacks, whether it's a high crotch, single leg, double leg. Now, some secrets to hitting with a deep knee come from starting off in a good deep stagger. We have a deep stagger, deep level change, deep knee. So I have a deep stagger, deep level change. When I hit my high crotch, I have a deep knee. Now, another trick is you want to have fast hands and a fast trail leg whenever you're attacking your opponent. So we don't want to hit our high crotch and stop here. This trail leg's got to step deep. Some of us will learn to step outside what is commonly called 3 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 3 feet in a row. That's not right. We're going to step deep, kind of like a triangle, because my momentum, if I'm shooting explosively and I'm trying to stop right here, your momentum will carry you forward. If you're exploding, you want to have this leg as a stopper. All right? So we have a deep stagger, a deep level change. Now keep in mind, a level change is a world-class wrestling technique. Most people that wrestle, even the ones that are very skilled, that maybe win 2, 3, or 4 state titles, they still don't have a great level change. So a huge level change is key. Step 3, I want to hit my high crotch. But on my high crotch and double, I shoot like a check mark. I'm going to squat and shoot up because I have fast hands, fast trail leg. My trail leg will fly off of the mat if my shoulders shoot up into my opponent. And this is why some of us get stuck down on a high crotch, he sprawls and get a crossface. So if you have a deep knee and a fast trail leg, you're going to be successful in wrestling. And it all comes with that world-class technique that's called a level change. And starting from a deep stagger, that's key as well. So 1, we're going to drop our level. 2, I'm going to shoot up into my opponent. 3, I'm going to step deep. And we're going to pass the double. And we wrestle from there. So those are some tricks of the trade that will help your high crotch. Now, as far as a single leg, here's a couple of tricks that will help you as well. Basically, one of the main keys is whenever I'm going to step into my opponent, I'm going to step deep outside with what we call a pigeon toe step. If I step deep, I can't rotate my knee to the mat because my leg doesn't work that way. So I'm going to take an outside step here. Keep in mind, on a high crotch and a double, from a tie-up position, you drive off your front leg. For your single leg, you drive off your back leg. And these are all things that are very important to wrestling. And some of this probably is new when you're watching this video. You think, man, that's cool. I wish I had known that, or I need to do that with my son. Keep in mind that this is real raw basic wrestling. And if you're not learning this raw basic wrestling, and then, maybe it's time to seek out some expert training so that you can learn how to wrestle and why one guy wins and one guy loses. Because these are all the technical things that make a difference. In addition to, the attitude side of wrestling and these other areas that we cover on a weekly and daily basis in our wrestling company. Now, as far as your single leg is concerned, we'll have a deep level change. Step 2, we're going to take a big outside step. There's that pigeon toe step. 3, I'm going to hit and spin right here. And so the footwork, the reason one guy has a good single leg and one doesn't, a lot of times it's just the footwork. Wrestling is a footwork sport. So and this is outlined on our DVDs and camps and this type of thing, you want to drill the footwork so that you can get your body into the right position to attack. So we're stepping outside. Now for our single leg, our traditional sweep single, we want to try to have our knee hit back by that heel. So when I take a deep step, it's kind of like I'm doing the splits. I'm taking a huge step, but then my weight will transfer onto that front leg. So 1, drive your level. 2, huge step. There's a pigeon toe step. 3, hit and spin. Your positioning from here, left hand slap, eyeballs in the ribs. Right here. Common mistake, a lot of us, and this is even taught at camps, unfortunately, they showed the little guys to slap the mat and pivot and spin on that hand. That's poor technique, and you'll never be a great wrestler until you break that habit. So we're going to drop our level. I'm going to take a huge step. Now, how far do I step outside? This is something you have to keep in mind. Depends on, the length between your foot and your knee. If I step too deep or too close, my knee's going to be between his knees. Too far outside, I'm falling down into the leg. So it's just kind of a lot of drill time will fix this for you. So 1, we'll drop our level. 2, take a huge outside step. 3, hit and spin. Now notice, we always drop our level before we attack. A lot of us in wrestling, say I was going to hit a regular double leg, we will drop our level down into the shot. Stay there. See how I pressured his hands? His hands are close to his body now. Basically, if that's his second line of defense, if Nick drops down like he's going to level change into a double for me, step into a double. Good. I can stop him with my hands. But a good level change is a world-class wrestling technique. It's also a setup. So if he has us leaving a little bit of pressure and I drop my level, a little bit less, I drop my level straight down, notice how he's stumbling. I'm almost pulling him off of his base. So you don't drop your level down into your opponent. You drop your level straight down so that your opponent kind of loses balance for a split second. So a good level change is also a setup, see? We didn't rehearse this. He has no idea I was getting ready to do that. It just happens, and he was in a good stance to begin with. So keep that deep level change before you shoot. Don't drop your level into the leg attack and pressure his second line of defense. We drop and shoot. Secondly, what that does is it loads up your hips. If I was going to touch the ceiling, I would not bend my knees this deep and explode. I'm going to squat down here and explode. Same thing in wrestling. If I'm going to hit a good single leg, I'm going to drop down here and score. High crotch, low single leg, it's all the same. I'm going to, just like a snake, I'm going to load up my hips before I score. So a good level change is such a key aspect of wrestling, and we will spend hours sometimes drilling just the level change because that's the piece of the puzzle that most even, 2, 3, 4-time state champs don't even do on their own. So we'll drill things like this as well. So as far as your single leg, going back real quick, good, huge level change. Step 2, big outside step with a pigeon toe step. 3, we're going to hit and spin. All right? Now a good finish is a quick change off. Sock, shoulder, sock. Of course, you can finish high level, picking your leg up. He sprawls on top of your back. You finish low level. But for a mid-level finish, instead of picking the leg up, if I catch him and he has no time to sprawl, it's not a bad idea hitting a good quick change off. And this is a good mid-level finish. All right? Again, my knees by the heel. I always had deep knees. Sock, shoulder, sock. One more time. Inside ties a setup. Sweep single leg to a quick change off. 1, drop your level. 2, huge step. 3, hit and spin. 4, left hand slap, eyeballs in the ribs. From here, sock, shoulder, sock. We can run them over and score. And that is a couple of tricks and techniques to your high crotch, single leg attacks.